So are you able to see this screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we are discussing about system calls and how we can make use of these system calls through C program. So that we'll see shortly. How can we make use of these system calls? The first command, which the first system call that we need to discuss is a fork system call, and this basically system call is used to create a process. So whenever it is executing, it is creating a process. So suppose we are writing a C program, and there we are making use of this fork system call. So let us suppose the name of my program is suppose a.c, and I have compiled that program, and in that program at some point of time I am making use of this fork system call. So upon execution of this fork system call, what is happening? It is creating a child process. So the one program where we are making use of this fork, since from here only the new child is created. So you can say that original program, which was earlier written as a.c, that becomes a parent process. And the newly created process, which has been created with the use of fork, becomes a child process. So now this child is exactly a clone of parent process. So whatever code we are having in parent, the same is applicable to child also. The only difference is this child has a different PID different than parent process. This, by the way, already we have discussed that associated with every process, we are having a PID, which stands for process identification number. So this is a number by which uniquely we identify each process. So this process, which is basically a executable version of a.c, that has at some point of time the occurrence of fork. So upon execution of this system call, it is creating a child process, and now this child process has the same code as that of parent, and this child can also compete with the parent for CPU slots. So now we are having two processes in the memory. One is the original parent and second is the child process, and they are competing with each other to get the chance for execution on CPU. So whatever concepts we have studied in operating system, like we are having a CPU burst, we are having throughput. So you know that key throughput is the total time which any command or any process takes for its completion. But since in process lifecycle we have discussed that when we execute any program, or when the process is trying to complete, it passes through different states many times. Like in the beginning it is in ready state, then it moves to run state, from there it may move to wait state, or directly it can go back to ready state. So this is happening frequently. But you can understand that if we are executing any command for 5 microsecond, so not all for 5 microsecond the CPU was allocated to that process. Rather, the CPU might have been used by that process just for 2 microsecond, and rest of the 3 microsecond the process was either in the wait state or maybe in the ready state. But since at both the places, in ready queue or in wait queue, it was waiting for its turn, so that next time once again it can get CPU and it can complete its execution. So we term that the entire time apart from the CPU, the remaining time we term as wait time only. Okay, irrespective to the fact whether process is waiting in ready queue or it is waiting in the wait queue. Okay. At both the places it is in the wait state. So we say that if 5 microsecond time is completely taken by that command, and the CPU burst for that command is 2 microsecond. That means if we allocate that CPU and we have that process solely having access to microprocessor, then probably it can complete its execution within 2 microsecond, because that is the total time which it requires on CPU. But for 3 microsecond it was in wait state. So the total time comes out to be 5 microsecond. Now there may be multiple processes which are there, and they are competing with each other to get the CPU slot. So the same thing is happening over here, that when the parent is creating a child process, the child and parent both are now resuming the execution from the point next to fork system call. So child is also resuming its execution from the next point onwards. I mean, just after fork and so on. But which out of these two will execute first, that depends which of them is getting the CPU slot first. So accordingly, either the child can proceed or the parent can proceed. But here you can see that both of them are clone of each other, and there is no different except the PID, process identification number. Moreover, when we discuss about this fork system call, this is an integer returning function. So you have the option of using it without making use of any return value. So in that case, you can make use of only this much portion. You can use fork to create a child process. When you are writing k is equal to, that means you are interested to hold the return value of this fork. And by the way, it returns the PID of the newly created child. So what is happening if we are making use of k is equal to 4 in a.c? So upon execution, this is creating a child and the PID of this child is returned back to k. Now this k variable is having the PID of child. This concept is very important because we will see later on that it is hugely exploited by the parent, because parent knows where the PID of child is lying. It knows that it is stored in variable k. The same variable is available in child also, because after 4 onwards, the child is having the same code as that of parent. But here the value of k is equal to 0. So you need to understand the difference, that whenever we are making use of fork system call, it returns a PID of the newly created child, but that PID will be lying in the variable only in the parent process. In the child process, this variable in which we are holding the return value, that has the value 0. So here this concept is hugely exploited, that k will be having either a 0 value or k will be having a PID. So whenever we say that k is greater than 0, that means we can put this kind of condition, that if k is greater than 0, then this segment should be executed, else this segment should be executed. So obviously both the segments are part of both the programs, parent as well as child. But the condition that k is greater than 0 will be true only in case of parent. So if we wish that out of these two cases of if, only a particular case should execute as part of parent, and the remaining sequence or remaining course of action should be executed as part of child. So this kind of condition we can put, that when k is greater than 0, then this, else this. Okay. So we'll see these kind of examples later on, how can we make use of this one. But the only difference you need to understand is whenever we are using fork system call, it is creating a child process and it returns the PID of the newly created child process. And the child is just the mirror replica of parent process. And both of these programs, they resume their execution from the next statement written just after fork system call. Okay? And from there onwards, they'll compete with each other. So which one will proceed first, that depends out of these two, which one is getting the CPU slots first. So accordingly, the program execution will resume. Another system call that is very important and is frequently used is get PID. So suppose if in the parent, if I am interested to know what is the PID of this parent, so we can make use of get PID. So whenever we are making use of get PID, it returns the PID of the current process. So if I am making use of get PID over here, it returns the PID of the parent process. If the same get PID I am using here in the child process, it returns the PID of the child process. Similarly, get PPID is get parents PID. So when we are using get PPID over here, that means it is returning the parent of the current process. Now, since this is a parent process, we are claiming that a.c is the first program where we are making use of this fork to create a child process. So this is a parent process. So question arises, who is the parent of this parent process? So the parent of this parent process is bash. Why bash? Because ultimately we are executing this program where? At the shell. So shell might have created a process, and then that process has overwritten with the parent, because that already I narrated, because whenever we are trying to execute any program or any command, so what shell is doing, it is just creating a child process and then letting that child process to overwrite itself with the new code. So obviously this will happen in case of a.c also. I mean, when we try to execute the executable version of a.c, what will happen? The shell will create a child process, and then it will let that child process to get replaced with the image of executable version of a.c. Now, when that is executed, it makes use of fork, so that gives birth to this child. And now we are having this concept that the parent, which is a.c, basically has been started by whom? It was started by bash. It was created by bash. So it has become a child of this bash. So parents का parent कौन है? Is bash. So we'll see this example कि how can we get the trace of this one? कि what is the PID of current shell? What is the PID of the parent of current shell? Already I am in CD. So let me see which programs I'm having in this directory. So the first program is fork1.c. So you look at the code of this here. This is the code. Now we are making use of this fork system call at this point. So upon execution, what will happen? When this is executed, it will create a child process. Since we are not holding the return value of this fork, that means we may not be interested to exploit the return value of fork. So, but upon execution of fork, two processes fork and executing it. So obviously, just on white screen, I have shown that when parent is creating a child process, a child is created, a child process is created. Now, from this point onwards, I mean, this statement and the remaining will be common in both the programs. Okay. So any one out of these two, the parent and the child, will go ahead and it will print that welcome to system call programming. And eventually the control is returned back to another program. I mean, if this welcome to system call programming we are getting because of child. So this child may complete its execution soon after displaying this message welcome to system call programming. And after that, the control is eventually returned back to parent. Now parent is also proceeding from the same point. It will also print welcome to system call programming on the screen, and then it will terminate. So I'm just compiling this program. This is fork1.c. With -o option, we can give a name fork1 as target file. So now we can execute this fork1. So now you can see that 2 times we have got welcome to system call programming. And the reason you very well know that since we are making use of fork, so it is creating a child process, and from that point onwards, both parent and child will proceed. And since both of them are having welcome to system call programming, so because of that only 2 times we are getting this message on the screen. So is it clear? So are you able to see this screen? Okay. So now the second example which I can show you is this fork2.c, where I am holding the return value in one of the variables, though I am not making use of this variable s. I'm simply showing that we are using fork 2 times. Now, what is the outcome of this program? I mean, making fork the use of fork 2 times. What will happen if this is my parent process and here I am making use of fork 2 times? So upon encounter of the first fork statement, a child process is created. And now this point onwards, both will resume the execution. So second fork will be executed as part of parent also, as part of child process also. So this fork, if parent is getting the chance first, it will create a child process. And similarly, if the child is getting the turn, or eventually if parent is getting, so after that the child must get the chance. So when child is getting, it is also executing fork, so it is also creating a child process. So now we are having this parent, this is the first child, and this is the second child. Similarly, here this fork of the parent has created a child. So this child A and B, they are the siblings because they belong to the same parent. Whereas this process C is the child of uh, uh, this B process. So for C, the parent is B, and for B, the parent is P. Okay. So this way, how many total programs will be having in the memory? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 programs will be having in the memory. So now we can once again see the effect of this one. We can show the execution of this program. So let me compile this program. This is fork2.c with -o option again fork2. So when I execute fork2, what is happening? 4 times I am getting welcome to system call programming. And the reason you very well know that the original parent is creating 2 child processes, one with the use of first fork and second with the use of second fork. Since second fork was common in both the parent and the first time created child process, so child is also making use of that fork or executing that fork, and it will also create another child. Okay. So by this way, we'll be having total 4 programs in the memory, or 4 processes in the memory, and every process will be executing welcome to system call programming, this printf statement. So because of that only, this outcome we are getting on the screen 4 times, welcome to system call programming. So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me give you one more example. It's fork3.c. And here basically we are making use of this return value because we wish that certain portion of the program should execute as part of parent and certain portion of this program should execute as part of child. Since we know that this complete code, I mean starting from if p greater than 0 uh, till the this closing brace, this is commonly executed as part of both the processes, as part of parent process, as part of child process. So what is happening when this p is equal to 4 is executed? This will create a child process, and upon creation of that child process, now out of these 2 processes, any one of them will eventually get the CPU slots, and the one which is getting the CPU slot will execute. And if we are putting this condition if p is greater than 0, so this condition is common in both the cases, in parent as well as in child, but this will return true value in case of parent process, but it will return false value in case of child process. Okay. So because in child I already told you that in case of child we'll be having only 0 value. Okay. So this will be executed only, this will be true only in case of parent. So when this parent is executed, it is simply checking this condition. It is found that this condition is true. So this sleep 20 will cause the parent process to sleep for 20 seconds. So because of that only, the parent's execution will prolong, because when we say that the process is sleeping, that means nothing it is doing, it is simply lying in the RAM. And during that period, it may be possible that if the time quantum is over, so the CPU slot will be given to the next program. Okay, in the queue. So this sleep deliberately we are putting because our intention is to make use of this uh, this statement sleep 20 to prolong the execution of parent. That is the time sufficient enough to ensure that child is executed before the parent. So what is happening? Child will execute and it will print the message I am child with PID this and my parent PID is this. and because of that only here I am using get PID and get PPID. So get PID will do what? Since it is executed, this else portion will be executed as part of child process. So this will print the PID of the child process, and this will print the PID of the parent process. Whereas in case of when it is completing its execution, the child control is eventually coming back to the parent process. Parent is still be executing sleep 20 because it is still not complete. But upon completion of this sleep 20, since there is no child which is competing for parent again, so because of that only it is happening that eventually this sleep 20 will be over and the parent is executing this statement. When parent executes this statement, it is simply printing that I am the parent with this PID, because the first get PID, since it is being used, it is being executed as part of parent process. So this parent is displaying its PID because of this get PID. And the second, my child's PID is P. And that P already we are having because P in P variable we are holding the PID of the child process. So now you can understand that any process, in any process, if we are executing get PID, we get the PID of that process where we are executing get PID. ठीक है, तो current process जिसके अंदर आपने get PID को use किया है, उसकी PID जो है will be displayed. ठीक है, and if we are making use of get PPID, so that means जो current process जिसके अंदर हम get PPID use कर रहे हैं, इस current process के जो parent process की PID है, that we can access with the use of get PPID. And eventually, if in the current process we are interested to know that who is the child process created by this parent process, so the only way to have this is the return value which we are holding in variable P. Okay, so that we are getting on the screen, and with that once again we are getting the child PID on the screen. So is it okay?
समझ नहीं आ रहा, कुछ छुपा पड़ा रहा है.
Hello, are you able to see this screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and let me tell you, since I am just listening to that murmuring that somebody is not understanding what I am explaining. So I am just telling you frankly that if you are having any problem, please let me know, so that once again I can explain every concept. Okay. So for the time being, I am executing just this program, and once again I'll re-explain that concept which we have discussed so far. So my current program is fork3.c. So I'm just compiling this program fork3.c, and the target file which I am giving is fork3. Now fork3 I'm executing. So this statement we are getting as part of the child process. Why? Because ये वाला जो part है parent का, if p is greater than 0, ये अगर पहले इसको chance मिला भी होता तो because of this sleep statement, the parent is moving into sleep mode. So this printf will not execute unless until this sleep is over. So this sleep time is sufficient enough that it makes sure that the turn is given back to the child process. So because of child only, if the child is getting the turn first, it's okay. But if it is not getting the turn first and parent is getting, then also because of this sleep 20, it is making it sure that the child is getting the chance first. Okay, so child is resuming the execution. It is printing I am child with PID this. So what is the PID of this child process? 4382. And what is the PID of parent process? I mean the original C program is 4381. And this statement is executed as part of parent process. What parent is printing? It is printing 4381, and it is also ensuring that 4382 is the PID of child process, which you can easily verify because this statement we have got because of child process, and this 4382 we have got as part of parent process. Here this 4382 we are getting because of this variable P. Whereas in case of in case of child process, this 4382 we are getting because of get PID. So now another important aspect is what will happen if we modify the statement of parent process And if I write I am parent with PID this and my child PID this and my parent's PID is this, मतलब parent का parent कौन है? तो I am just modifying. So now I'm simply putting one more statement. So now you can see this statement with the modified code. This is same as what we have got earlier. There in previous execution also we have got this, and here too we have got this. Now you can see the difference of the number. Actually, this number is dynamically assigned. So whenever we are executing any process at that time, a particular PID is assigned and that is a dynamic number. It's a sort of as it is happening in case of IP addresses. If we are having logical IPs, so whenever you are trying to connect your terminal because of DSCP, every time you are getting a different IP. So same thing is true here too, that we are getting a different PID every time we run that program. It may be merely a coincidence that at both the times in both the executions you will get the same PID, but PID is not permanently assigned. They are created dynamically. So now this child is printing that its PID is this one and its parent PID is this one. Now here you see that the parent process is printing that its PID is this one, which is also getting verified with the fact of child, because child का parent 4405 है and here too जो parent है is telling that its PID is 4405. पेरेंट का पेरेंट जो है उसकी पीआईडी क्या है 3158 एंड हु इज द बाय द वे पेरेंट ऑफ दिस पेरेंट प्रोसेस इट इज द शेल. ठीक है, सो हाउ कैन वी वेरीफाई दिस नंबर दैट आई सून टेल यू. एंड यू कैन see that the parent is also claiming that his child process PID is 4406, which is also endorsed by child, because when child is printing that its PID is 4406, it is same that as that of parent process, which parent is claiming that its child PID is this one. Now, as far as 3158 number is there, we can simply check with PS command. You can see that bash is the shell which is continuously working for me, and the PID of this bash is 3158. And if you look at this 3158, it is same as that of the C program which has printed on the screen, that 4405 is the parent C program. And who is the parent of this parent C program? It is the bash. So because of that only, due to get PPID, 3158 is printed as part of parent code. Okay. So is it clear? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Uh, आपको ये समझ में आया? इसमें जो मैंने 3 प्रोग्राम्स का एग्जीक्यूशन शो किया है, एक fork1.c, एक fork2.c और एक fork3.c, ठीक है। और इसमें जो बेसिक कंसेप्ट है वो यही है कि हमें जो है कैसे फोर्क का यूज करना है या कैसे फोर्क का यूज होता है। एक एग्जांपल तो जो सबसे पहले मैंने टेकअप किया था वो तो ये था कि जब हम कोई कमांड लाइन पे कमांड देते हैं तो हाउ दैट कमांड इज गेटिंग एग्जीक्यूटेड बाय द शेल, सो दैट वी हैव सीन एंड दैट आई री एक्सप्लेन once we will become accustomed of using this fork system call in C program. But in case of C program, you can understand that whenever we are writing program, we can create a child process with the use of fork, ठीक है, through that in that parent process. So मैं फिर से एक बार I am just briefing you about what we have discussed. I just explained you that we may be writing a C program. एक हमने C का प्रोग्राम लिखा है और उस प्रोग्राम में at some point of time I am making use of fork system call. ठीक है. Let us suppose my C program is p1.c. So what will happen when this fork system call is executed? It will create a child process, and let us suppose this child process p2 is created. By the way, if this parent process has the PID 23, then P2 may have a PID 24. Since both the process are now in RAM, तो इसमें से कोई एक जो है वो एग्जीक्यूट पहले होगा। कौन एग्जीक्यूट होगा दैट वी नेवर नो, क्योंकि ये डिपेंड करता है कि किसको सीपीयू स्लॉट पहले मिलती है, ठीक है। तो अब इस केस में क्या होगा, इस पॉइंट ऑनवर्ड्स पेरेंट भी एग्जीक्यूट होगा, और क्योंकि ये कोड जो है यहाँ से कॉमन था इस पॉइंट के ऑनवर्ड्स, तो चाइल्ड भी एग्जीक्यूट होगा। कब एग्जीक्यूट होंगे? व्हेन वन ऑफ देम इज गेटिंग द सीपीयू स्लॉट फर्स्ट। तो सपोज अगर पेरेंट को स्लॉट मिली तो यहाँ प्रोसीड कर जाएगा, और ऐसे ही जब चाइल्ड को मिलेगा तो चाइल्ड यहाँ से प्रोसीड कर जाएगा। यहाँ पे हमने कोई सिंक्रोनाइजेशन प्रोवाइड नहीं किया है। आई एम नॉट आई मीन प्रोवाइडिंग एनी सिंक that the child should complete first and then only the parent should resume its execution, ठीक है। लेकिन एक एग्जांपल जो आपको मैंने तीसरा वाला बताया है उसमें we have shown the use of sleep। तो sleep से कम हम ये कर सकते हैं कि पेरेंट और चाइल्ड में कौन किसको पहला टर्न मिलेगा ये तो नहीं मालूम, लेकिन अगर पेरेंट के अंदर अगर हम स्लीप को यूज कर लेते हैं फॉर सम टाइम, तो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ओनली व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, पेरेंट विल पुट इनटू स्लीप मोड फॉर सम अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम। तो इवेंचुअली ये हो सकता है कि पेरेंट हैज गॉट सीपीयू, तो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस स्लीप द नेक्स्ट स्टेटमेंट इज नॉट गेटिंग एग्जीक्यूटेड, रादर विद इन दिस स्लीप द सीपीयू टाइम और टाइम क्वांटम इज ओवर, सो देन द इवेंचुअली द टर्न इज गिवन बैक टू द चाइल्ड प्रोसेस। तो हमने क्या किया, जो थर्ड कोड था उसमें जस्ट टू मेक श्योर दैट चाइल्ड इज कंप्लीटिंग इट्स एग्जीक्यूशन फर्स्ट, वी हैव मेड यूज ऑफ स्लीप सिस्टम कॉल इन द पेरेंट कोड, ठीक है, जहां इफ p इज ग्रेटर देन 0 लिखा था। तो पेरेंट जो है वो स्लीप की वजह से जो है स्लीप मोड में चला जाएगा और उसका कोई अगला स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट नहीं हो पाएगा। और स्लीप मोड में रहते हुए, क्योंकि हमने इतना समय लिया है कि जो टाइम क्वांटम पेरेंट को मिली होगी फॉर एग्जीक्यूशन ऑन सीपीयू, तो वो जो है टाइम क्वांटम ओवर हो जाएगी एंड द टर्न विल बी गिवन बैक टू द चाइल्ड प्रोसेस। सिंस चाइल्ड डजंट हैव एनी अकरेंस ऑफ स्लीप एटसेट्रा, तो जो उसके अंदर है दैट विल बी एग्जीक्यूटेड। So just to make sure that child is executing first, we are making use of sleep, ठीक है। And this is what we have done in case of the last example which I have just shown you, that we have used this statement, this logic in this fork3.c program। तो अगर आप यहाँ पे देखें तो when this statement is executed, the parent is creating a child process, और ये वाला जो segment है this is true only with parent। So what will happen upon creation of a child process because of this statement? This point onwards, we are having two processes in the memory. One is this original program, and second is the process which has been created because of execution of this fork system call. So now we are having two processes, ठीक है, and both the processes are having the same code. So execution will be done in both the cases from which point? From the next statement onwards, and which is next statement? This one. So what will happen? If the parent is getting the turn first, so this statement will be true in case of parent. because parent is having the PID of the child process is stored in variable P. So this condition will be true in case of parent, because here P is having the PID of the child process, and we have just taken the example on the white screen that parent PID is 23 and child PID is 24. So what P is having, it is having 24. So because of that only this condition is true. So this statement is executed. This statement will put the parent process to sleep, and that is the time sufficient enough uh, to uh, uh, to ensure that the turn is given back to the child process, or the child process is getting the CPU slot. ठीक है? तो eventually when the control is given to the child process is resuming its execution, and this statement in case of child process is false. So because of that only this part will not be executed in the child process, else part will be executed. ठीक है? Else part will be executed. So this in else part what is happening? I am child with PID this, and this message will be printed on the screen, and with that the execution of child will be over, and control is coming back to the parent, which is still it still may be sleeping in the sleeping mode. So what is happening when the sleep is a sort of, you can say, a delay loop. So when the sleep is over, then only the next statement will be executed, and this statement will be executed as part of the parent. What parent is doing? It is printing the message I am parent with PID this. ये अपनी PID प्रिंट करेगा और अपने पेरेंट की PID प्रिंट करेगा. बाय द वे, ये जो मेरा ओरिजिनल प्रोग्राम था 43.c, यही मेन पेरेंट सी प्रोग्राम था, लेकिन इसका पेरेंट कौन था? इसका पेरेंट बैश था, क्योंकि शेल पे हमने इस प्रोग्राम को चलाया है. ठीक है? डॉलर प्रॉम्प्ट पे हमने लिखा fork 3 and we pressed enter, तो दिस प्रोग्राम इज एग्जीक्यूटेड. सो हु इज पेरेंट ऑफ दिस सी पेरेंट? इसका पेरेंट कौन है? बैश. तो इस परसेंटेज डी पे आपको क्या मिला था? वो 331 समथिंग करके 3158 आई सपोज, वो हमें इसलिए मिला था क्योंकि बैश की जो पीआईडी थी वो यहाँ पे डिस्प्ले हो जाएगी बिकॉज ऑफ दिस ओनली. और चाइल्ड की पीआईडी अगर 24 है तो वो किस स्टेटमेंट की वजह से होगी? वो इस वेरिएबल पी की वैल्यू को प्रिंट करने की वजह से होगी. So 23 will get because of this one only. PID of the bash will be getting because of this statement only, and the PID of child will be getting because of this variable P only. So is it okay? ये clear है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I expect कि each one of you should try to execute these programs. ठीक है? The code is very simple to understand. आपको केवल जो है इसको एक आध बार आप एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे तो यू विल हैव एन आइडिया, क्योंकि इसके आगे फिर हम लोग और देखेंगे. बट यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस स्लीप 20 with which we are making it sure that child should execute first. This is you can say not a proper way of causing the parent to wait for child. But since we have not studied anything else so far, so I just explained you that with the use of sleep, at least we can put the parent into sleep mode just to make sure that it is not executing anything when it is getting the currently the availability of or access of CPU. ठीक है? Rather, because of sleep only the time quantum is getting wasted and nothing is happening, and eventually the time quantum of this parent will expire and the turn will be given to the child process. So this is one way to make sure that child should execute first, even if the parent is getting the turn first, but because of sleep only we are making it sure that time quantum is exhausted without executing anything, and eventually the control will be coming back to the child, and child is executing all its part and it is getting over, and then the CPU slots are given back to the parent. If the sleep is still incomplete, so it will resume from the point where it was interrupted previously, and it will complete the sleep, and after that it will execute the next statement. This is what happened in this case, which I just showed you on 43.c. So I hope ki you will just replay this recorded session so that you can understand these three programs, fork 1, fork 2 and fork 3. These are the three programs just to understand the systematic use of fork system call. Okay. So we have seen the use of four system calls today. One is fork, second is sleep, the third is get PID, and fourth is get PPID. So I will discuss it further in the next lecture. And so far whatever I have explained you is simply I'm telling you that child is just a clone of parent. We are not letting the child to have a different code. But later on we'll see that with the use of exec, it is possible that the child is overwriting itself with the new code. And in that case, it will become totally independent of parent as far as code is concerned. So now both of them will be having a different code. Okay, but that we'll see later on. So with this, I'm ending my today's session. And if you are having any problem in understanding this concept, so please let me know in the next session so that I can re-explain whatever difficulty you are having in understanding this concept.